Hi everyone, welcome back to another Nature's Tales video. Today the video is going to be on how to tell the difference between crocodiles and alligators, which is thanks to a request from my friend Ethan. Morphologic and taxonomic wise, it is quite understandable why some confusion may arise when trying to identify the differences between crocodiles and alligators. For starters, we can see that they're both quite closely related. They're both part of the Reptilia class, the Crocodilia order, and the Brevirostis clade. They do, however, then split into two families, the alligator family and the crocodile family. So from here, let's break it down into key differences between these two families. The first difference that you can use to identify if an animal is an alligator or a crocodile is to look at the shape of their snout. Alligators have a more broad and U-shaped snout, which can be seen on the American alligator here. For crocodiles, however, their snout is much more narrow and goes to more of a V shape, and you can see that quite clearly on this freshwater crocodile. From these two animals here, you might be able to notice another one of the key differences between crocodiles and alligators, and that is their colour. Now within the alligator family, you do have alligators and caimans, but for the actual alligator species, there are only two which are alive today, that being the American alligator and the Chinese alligator. If you look at these two species, you can notice that they both are rather dark in colour. They tend to range from a sort of dark grey to a black shade. On the other hand, if you look at the crocodiles which are alive today, they tend to range in colour from sort of a tan brown to an olive green, so they're much lighter in shade than alligators are. You can see the olive green in the Morales crocodile here, and then you can also see that tan brown in the Mugger crocodile. Another way to tell the difference between a crocodile and an alligator is to look at their teeth. Now, I'm not saying get up and close and personal to their mouths, in fact I'd highly recommend against it, but you can tell the difference between these two groups if their teeth are visible when their mouths are shut. For crocodiles, when their mouths are shut, their lower teeth tend to be visible, especially the fourth tooth, which is rather prominent and it juts out of the mouth quite obviously. However, this is not an absolute indicator of whether an animal is a crocodile or an alligator, as teeth can just vary in placement between individuals, much like it can in us humans. A fourth identifier for crocodiles and alligators is the habitat. However, like the previous one, this is not an absolute indicator and there is variation between species, and a certain habitat is not all encompassing for the entire group. The two extant species of alligator, the American alligator and the Chinese alligator, both are freshwater species, which means they'll tend to occur in more inland locations. The Chinese alligator exists in one large lake in China called Nanyehu, so it's unlikely that you'll encounter this alligator anywhere else in the wild, anywhere else in the world. Crocodiles, on the other hand, are predominantly found in saltwater environments. However, this is not true for every species. For example, the freshwater crocodile, as its name suggests, prefers freshwater environments of northern Australia. Though it is important to note that you don't get alligators in Australia, so if you happen to stumble across a member of the Crocodilian order in Australia, it is going to be a crocodile. It's highly unlikely that it's going to be an alligator out there in the wild. And the final way that you can tell the difference between alligators and crocodiles is by their aggression levels. Usually crocodiles are a bit more aggressive than alligators, but I sincerely hope that you're never getting close enough to actually discover how aggressive that animal is. So to summarise, the way to tell the difference between a crocodile and an alligator is to look at its snout. If it's U-shaped, it's an alligator. If it's V-shaped, it's a crocodile. Second, you need to look at their colour. If they're grey or black, they are going to be an alligator, whilst if they're green or brown, they're likely a crocodile. Third, if the teeth are visible on their lower jaw, it's probably a crocodile. And fourth, crocodiles tend to prefer salt water, whilst alligators tend to exist in freshwater environments. And five is how aggressive they are, with crocodiles being more aggressive than alligators. So thank you for watching my video. I hope that I've adequately taught you the way to tell the difference between a crocodile and an alligator now. For this video, I don't have any papers to link since I didn't really use any particular papers to gather information for this. So instead, I've used their information for some of the species from their IUCN Red List. The IUCN Red List is a really amazing database which has a lot of in-depth information from scientific sources about particular species. So I'm going to link in the description below some of the Red List pages for some of the species I've mentioned in this video. It's a really good way to know what their current conservation strategies are, their habitat, their distribution, and the threats that they face in the wild for that particular species. It's also updated pretty regularly, and they tend to have a lot of papers listed in a reference section, so if there's more you want to know about, you can check there as well. But anyway, thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that like button if you want to see more. Ethan asked me to say that. I regret everything. I have given you all too much power over the content I make. yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye! Thanks for watching.